Welcome back to Between Bells, everyone. Earlier this year, Wall Street was rocked by a group of retail investors on the WallStreetBets subreddit who ignited a rally of meme stocks like GameStop and AMC. The event eventually triggered a hearing conducted by the House Financial Services Committee, which interrogated major players like Reddit and Robinhood. For more on this, here's Kristen Scholler at today's Propelify Festival.
Asia, thank you so much. And yes, I am joined by the man himself. Jaime Rogozinski is with me at the Propelify event in Hoboken, New Jersey, to talk all about WallStreetBets, the forum that Jaime founded. Are you still involved, Jaime?
Look, I'm still involved with everything related to Wall Street Bets, right? This omnipresent idea, this concept that people should be empowered and take control of their own finances. The subreddit itself I'm not involved with, but I'm involved with a bunch of other mediums that are on Discord, Telegram, Facebook, this, that, the other, and I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
I know the WallStreetBets community, at least on Reddit, now grown to just shy of 11 million users. When you started that years ago, did you foresee it ballooning into the community that it is now? Yes, on Reddit and even beyond.
I didn't foresee it becoming this big. No, I mean, it was evident early on when I started it that it was doubling, it was growing exponentially in size every year after year after year. So you go from 50 to 100,000, it doesn't feel like that much of a growth. But when it goes from 1 million to 2 million to 4, you definitely felt it. So although I didn't foresee it, it doesn't surprise me because the attraction to this empowerment and democratization of finance and to being able to take control of your own finance situation, then that's what really I think is what has the sticking power.
The last time you and I spoke was at the height of the GameStop saga in January of this year. Now we're in the fourth quarter. What has this year shown you in terms of the power of the retail trader?
I mean, I think that it's humbling and it's really empowering to see how much it's grown. It's gone so much more above this, hey, let's take control of power. I just read right before coming on here that AMC is now allowing payments through Dogecoin, right? They're reinventing themselves after having done a secondary offering and raised more capital in the capital markets, right? You have the stock market and the financial system kind of pivoting back to what its original intention was, which was wonderful. And then I've seen people all around, not just the U.S., but around the world that want to participate into this kind of global democratization of finance. And it's not slowing down. In fact, I believe it's speeding up.
Do you believe that it's still fair to say it is a democratization of finance after we saw some retail traders, quite frankly, be left behind when it came to the trading pauses that Robinhood did put in place in the height of that GameStop saga?
Yeah, that was really unfortunate, but it was also very misunderstood, right? So the issue that happened there was not just a Robinhood issue, it was a regulatory issue that affected all brokers in the U.S. They all had to limit or stop trading to some capacity because of these counterparty risks by these clearinghouses, by all this, the capital requirements. That's why we ended up having these congressional hearings, is to address these issues. I hope that can be fixed, but I definitely think that it's unfortunate that in the process of exposing these kind of cracks in the system, that there were lots of people that ended up losing money.
Mm-hmm. And we did see the public hearings play out in front of lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Robinhood was involved, GameStop was involved, Citadel was involved. Throughout this process, have you ever received any phone calls from lawmakers, legislators, regulators about your founding of the WallStreetBets community?
No, to this day, I've never been in touch with any legislators or regulators, for that matter. I work really closely with lawyers that are really well versed in this area, just to make sure that I'm staying well within the confines of the law and they can advise me through sticky situations. But as of now, I have not.
Have you faced any legal challenges yourself, or have the attorneys that you've sought out simply been guides for you throughout this process?
When it comes to securities-related issues, I have not had any legal challenges. There's been some other ones in play, but they have nothing to do with the equities or with any kind of stock market related business. No.
You were discussing Robinhood before. Does still seem to be the trading platform of choice for retail investors. How much stickiness do you think Robinhood has?
I mean, they have a ton of stickiness, right? Like, it's so easy to remember what happened with GameStop, And I understand why a lot of people blame them exclusively because they were the biggest broker that dealt with this. But people very quickly forgot what they had done the year prior, which was their systems broke down in the height of the coronavirus, the volatility swings when we had these 10% market days and the lock limits or the circuit breakers going off 10 times a day. Their system straight up collapsed because of the volatility for it. People straight up lost money. You can buy or sell, but they've already forgotten about that, right? They've moved on to the latest kind of incident that has happened, and there's no doubt there's going to be other ones in the future as all companies end up having them. But they have tremendous sticking power because they have a great interface. They've lowered the barriers to entry. They have the brand. They have the users, and they continue to innovate, right? They're pushing really hard to move into the crypto space, which I do believe is going to be the next big wave. So they're already getting ahead of that by being positioned for it.
There are, though, a lot of questions about the future of cryptocurrency, especially after China's crackdown on cryptocurrency trading and mining of Bitcoin in the world's second biggest economy. Do you think that the U.S. and other countries will continue in some form to adopt cryptocurrency?
I mean, I think it's incredibly beneficial to the U.S., right? All the mining and big mining operations that I know of that were in China, they've all moved to Texas now, right? There's, when it comes to mining, it's not a crypto business. It is a energy arbitrage business. And Texas is really well positioned to take that over, and they so far have. So I think that's really good. Look, crypto's not going to go away. China's been banning crypto for like a decade. They can't. It's technologically impossible, right? They can make rules and they can say, don't do this, I will send you to jail. So that's going to dissuade people from doing that, but it's not going to stop anybody. Decentralized technology is not stoppable, and that's what makes it powerful. So, what China did is one thing. What we saw what happened with El Salvador, where they took the exact opposite approach, is another one. All countries are going to have to kind of pick their size and where they want to get situated, because all countries are going to have to live alongside of crypto. So we're just going to wait to see what happens here with the U.S. I'm looking forward to them regulating, and I think that's going to be a really bullish seal of approval. It's a sign of endorsement, and they'll set rules. If they're good rules, if they're mediocre, whatever, it'll set the framework with which bigger businesses and institutions can play.
For any of our viewers who do hold or trade cryptocurrency, what do you think U.S. regulations on the crypto market look like?
I think that they should go the way of the way that OTC regulation exists, right? To be able to have certain disclosure requirements, to be able to identify the stakeholders in these particular things. You do have a lot of scams that resemble what we saw with penny stocks, but you also have a lot of really legitimate projects, more so than the short-term profit opportunities that you see there. And so I think being able to set that framework to be able to hold individuals accountable to the ones that are defrauding investors versus the ones that are actually trying to be productive. I'm assuming and hoping that that's the way they end up looking.
Talk to me more about the opportunity that is popping up in Texas. Why Texas? And what are the dollars that might be funneling there when it does come to Bitcoin mining?
Lots of money. I mean, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars have already flown into it, right? I know firsthand of a handful of insanely large-scale mining operations that have just moved over there, and they're renewable energy. So they're taking advantage of that, which is also pushing that whole ESG industry forward. But I think that it's really, really good for Texas. Like I said, mining is an energy industry. So Texas is probably the best state. Plus, for anyone that are trying to use solar or wind, whatever it might be for renewables, hydro, they're really well positioned for that as well. So I have no doubt that we're going to see a large influx. We've already seen a large influx of people that have moved into Texas. I don't think that's going to stop.
All right, Jaime Rogozinski, founder of Wall Street Bets. Jaime, thank you so much. Jaime, of course, joining here at the Propelify event to talk about the Wall Street Bets community.